Hello and welcome to SPS Spotlight. I'm your host, Azell Cavaan, Chief Communications Officer for Springfield Public Schools, and today we are talking about getting back to school safely. And I am joined by Pat Roach, who is the Chief Financial Officer for Springfield Public Schools and who also oversees facilities and custodial services for our district. We are going to be talking today about a very important subject, COVID related, and that is ventilation in our schools. So Pat, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell us a little bit about how we came to understand what upgrades we would make to our ventilation services in our schools?
So our buildings are well maintained. We have a phenomenal facilities department, and they keep all of our equipment up to the highest standards. When DESE released their guidelines, we went through all of our buildings and made sure they met the DESE guidelines. That being said, the superintendent was adamant that we went to another level, so we hired an industrial hygienist to go through our buildings, building by building, classroom by classroom.
Let me just ask you, what is an industrial hygienist?
Oh, an industrial hygienist is a specialist who specializes in air quality and can tell you what the different equipment you need to get to the higher standard.
Okay, thank you. So we hired an industrial hygienist to review our buildings.
Yes.
And how did they do that?
So the industrial hygienist, along with our facilities department, went through classroom by classroom to check the air quality and the airflow and the various systems that we have throughout the district. They then came and made recommendations on how we could improve.
I heard you say classroom by classroom. So an air quality specialist visited every single classroom in every single building of Springfield Public Schools.
Yes.
And how did they present their findings? Like what did they tell us?
They grouped the findings into 3 different tiers, and then they made specific recommendations on how we could improve buildings in each one of those tiers.
And how long has this work taken? I know that you said every classroom has been touched. That's a big undertaking.
The work started as soon as the pandemic started. We immediately went and started checking our ventilation and our air filters, and we hired the industrial hygienist, and the work's still going on right now, Azell. We're in the process of wrapping it up.
And schools won't be opened until every single school and classroom has been attended to.
Yes, that's correct.
Excellent. And so this is something that's above and beyond what we needed to do?
Yes, it is. Yes,
Excellent.
it is.
Excellent. And let's talk a little bit about funding, because it just seems like such a gigantic project that we weren't expecting. How are we paying for this?
Well, this work's going to cost millions of dollars. It's in the process of costing us millions of dollars, but the mayor committed to funding all of this and ensuring that our kids and our staff are safe.
Excellent. And the mayor will be joining us shortly, so please stay tuned for a word from the mayor. And then right after that, Pat and I will take you on a tour where you'll be able to see a Tier 1, a Tier 2, and a Tier 3 school and understand what's happened in each of those buildings and those classrooms to improve the ventilation services in all of our buildings. So please stay tuned.
Pretty soon, we're going to be able to take these masks off as we work hard to defeat this COVID-19. In the meantime, I want to thank Superintendent Dan Warwick and administration and staff, my city side team, our school committee, Director of Facilities and Parks, Patrick Sullivan. We have invested millions of dollars to improve the ventilation in our schools and all our public buildings, above and beyond the ASHRAE standards. We have brought on a specialist, Bob Kirshner, industrial hygienist with O'Reilly, Talbot and O'Reilly. What we have done, and you can see one in the corner over there, is the carrier air systems have been put in. The IWaves have been put in. The MERV filters have been put in. We're going above and beyond the ASHRAE standards that were recommended by DESE to make it safe and sound for each and every one of you, our teachers, our students, our staff, administration, and families as we move forward. Until then, I look very much forward to being with you again in person as we continue to educate our children and feed our children and nurture our children. So to all the dedicated staff of the Springfield Public School Systems, thank you for your continued belief and investment in our city of Springfield. And to the families of our students, thank you for your continued belief and investment in our city of Springfield. We're going to make sure that we make it safe and sound for when we start to transition back. And we worked very, very closely with Commissioner of Health and Human Services, Helen Colton Harris. So we've been in concert, working together to make sure that it is safe and healthy so we can continue to educate our students toward a successful career. Until then, I wish each and every one of you good health, and we'll see you all soon. God bless you all.
Here we are on the first stop of our ventilation tour. We are at Putnam in the mechanical room where the HVAC system has been complemented by what I'm holding here, which is called an IWave C. So Pat, let's talk a little bit about the IWave C and what it does for ventilation here at Putnam and other schools across the district. So I'm assuming that the HVAC system here at Putnam was already the latest and greatest. Why are we needing to do more?
Thanks, Azell. You're completely right. Putnam already met the latest building code standards. However, we decided to go above and beyond and do the top level new items that are out there. That's the iWave, as you can see up in the air duct up above.
And so the iWave gets inserted into an existing HVAC system, and what does it do?
It cleans the air as it passes through.
So there already are a number of sort of defenses that the air goes through, and now you've added another layer on top of that.
Exactly. We're increasing the amount of fresh air that's coming through the buildings, as well as already passing them through MERV 13 and MERV 15 air filters.
So the MERV 13 and 15 air filters already exist in the HVAC system, and the iWave is an added-on level of defense.
It's above and beyond as an abundance of caution.
And what types of schools will be getting this sort of an upgrade?
Any one of our schools with air ducts. That would be, Putnam, Brookings, Van Sickle, any one of our newer schools with newer airflow systems.
And so how many purchases of iWaves has the district made, approximately?
We purchased about 1,000 of them to install in air vents across the city.
So iWave is one of the ventilation upgrades that have been made in buildings in the district that are already up to par. It's a step above and beyond, and really it's for ductwork, and it's a last layer of defense, an additional layer of defense to help to clean the air before it reaches our hallways and our classrooms.
Here we are in the Putnam Auto Tech shop to demonstrate how the airflow is going to work in all of the Putnam shops. As you can see in the ductwork above me, 100% of the fresh air comes from the outside, and 100% of the air from the shop leaves to the outside.
So Pat, here we are at Kennedy School. We're in room 111, and there's actually some changes that have happened in this building. This is a tier 2 school, but you can't really tell. If you look around, the unit here looks just like it did before folks left. So I know that we have some new filters that we're using. These are the old filters. Can you tell us a little bit about the upgrades that have occurred?
Absolutely, Azell. So what we've done is we've had custom-made MERV 13 air filters to put inside these univents in all of our Tier 2 schools. What the MERV 13 filters do is the air comes through the bottom of the univent, over fans, through the air filter, which filters out microparticles, including virus, and then it expels the air through the top. We've also increased the amount of fresh airflow that comes in from the outside.
So Pat, I know at home we have to change our filters regularly, and I know that this is a custom-made filter, is something you said earlier. So are they going to be changed continuously?
We're planning to do the filter changes quarterly.
So Pat, can you tell us where these new filters are located throughout Tier 2 buildings?
These filters are installed in every single univent throughout all of our Tier 2 schools.
So we've learned a little bit about Tier 1 and Tier 2 schools. Stay with us as we travel to a Tier 3 school and see what's happening in those buildings. So here we are, Pat, on our last leg of the tour. We're here at Homer Street School. We are in room 5. This school is considered a Tier 3 school, and the schools in that category are ones that had no HVAC system previously. So can you talk about what we've done in these situations?
Absolutely, Azell. In our Tier 3 schools, we installed what are called carrier OptiClean units, such as what's located right behind us. The carrier OptiClean units actually scrub the air within the classroom. It cycles the air through the class, through various filters, and it cleans the air. This is what they install in hospitals and other areas where they need to clean the air in rooms.
Excellent. And so every classroom will have its own unit right in the classroom?
Yes, every classroom will have one of these units that teachers and students will be able to see in the back of their rooms.
So on our tour, we've seen everything. We've seen ventilation systems that are not visible to the eye because they are in the mechanical rooms and they're in the ductwork, to systems like this, improvements like this, where it's very visible right in the classroom with the kids and the teachers.
Yes.